The biblical meaning of number 17, divine intervention and new beginnings in the vast landscape of biblical numerology, the number 17 carries profound spiritual significance. It is often linked to divine intervention, victory, and new beginnings, appearing at pivotal moments throughout the Bible, from Noah's Ark coming to rest on Mount Ararat to Jesus' resurrection. This guide explores the historical, symbolic, and theological meanings behind the number 17, shedding light on how it represents spiritual completeness, restoration, and triumph over adversity. Whether you are a dedicated biblical scholar or a spiritual seeker, let's uncover the mysteries of this powerful number and its relevance in our faith journeys. Key takeaways: Number 17 in the Bible signifies divine intervention, victory over struggles, and new beginnings. Significant biblical events tied to 17 include Noah's Ark resting on Mount Ararat, Joseph's life-changing trials, and Jesus' resurrection. Biblical numerology connects 17 with divine perfection, 7, and completeness, 10. The Hebrew calendar highlights 17's role in key events such as the Exodus and the Jewish victory in the Book of Esther. 17 appears throughout Scripture in prophetic visions, kingly reigns, and symbolic word occurrences. Spiritually, 17 reflects God's sovereign control, spiritual maturity, and divine restoration. Its recurrence in Scripture encourages believers to trust in God's perfect timing and complete work of deliverance. 1. Biblical events and occurrences of number 17. The number 17 is repeatedly mentioned in significant biblical contexts. Here are some key occurrences. The Great Flood. God caused the rain to begin on the 17th day of the second Hebrew month, Genesis 7:11. Noah's Ark. The ark rested on Mount Ararat on the 17th of the 7th month, Genesis 8:4, symbolizing a new beginning. Jesus' resurrection. Jesus rose from the dead on Nisan 17, Saturday, 8 April 1930 AD, marking victory over death. Joseph's trials begin. Joseph was 17 years old when he received his coat of many colors and was later sold into slavery, Genesis 37:2. Jacob's final years. Jacob lived in Egypt for 17 years before his death, Genesis 47:28. The Apostle Paul's teachings. The 17th mention of the word love in 1 Corinthians 13 states that love is the greatest gift. 1 Corinthians contains 17 direct Old Testament quotations. The number of beasts in prophecy. Daniel's vision, Daniel 7, describes beasts with a total of 17 heads and horns. Revelation 13 describes the end-time system with 17 heads and horns. Biblical kings and rulers. Rehoboam, the first king of Judah after the split, ruled for 17 years, 1 Kings 14:21. Jehoahaz, a king of Israel, ruled for 17 years, 2 Kings 13:1. Psalm 83's prophecy lists 17 enemies of Israel, 7 past enemies and 10 future foes. This pattern of 17 appearing in critical moments of biblical history highlights its divine importance and meaning. 2. Symbolic meaning of number 17 in biblical numerology. The perfection of divine order. Number 17 is made up of 10, completeness, representing fullness, as seen in the 10 Commandments. 7, divine perfection, representing spiritual perfection, as seen in the 7 days of creation. When combined, 17 symbolize a state of divine order and completion aligned with God's perfect plan. Victory and overcoming. 1 plus 7 equals 8 in numerology. 8 represents new beginnings and resurrection. 17 is often associated with overcoming obstacles and achieving divine victory. The Israelites' victory at the Red Sea, Jesus' resurrection, and Joseph's journey illustrate this theme of triumph. 3. Spiritual implications of 17. God's sovereignty. 17 reflects God's control over all creation and history. Spiritual maturity. It represents spiritual growth and the journey toward completeness in faith. Redemption and restoration. Events tied to 17 emphasize God's power to restore and renew. 4. Biblical examples reinforcing the symbolism. Noah's Ark rested on Mount Ararat on the 17th day of the 7th month, marking a fresh start for humanity. Joseph's journey at age 17. Joseph was sold into slavery, but through God's plan, he became a ruler in Egypt. The resurrection of Jesus. Jesus rose from the dead on Nisan 17, demonstrating the ultimate victory over sin and death. 5. Numerological patterns of 17. 17 is the seventh prime number, reinforcing divine perfection. The sum of numbers from 1 to 17 equals 153, which is connected to the miraculous catch of 153 fish, John 21:11, symbolizing the gathering of believers. 6. Number 17 in the Hebrew calendar. 17th of Nisan, crossing of the Red Sea, marked Israel's deliverance from Egypt. Jesus' resurrection, symbolizing spiritual freedom and victory. Beginning of Omer count, leading to Pentecost and spiritual preparation. 17th of Adar, victory in the Book of Esther. The Jewish people triumphed over their enemies, illustrating divine intervention. Purim celebrates the complete deliverance of the Jews. 7. What does number 17 mean spiritually? Themes associated with 17. Divine intervention, God's direct involvement in human affairs. Triumph over adversity, overcoming trials through faith. New beginnings, fresh start after hardships. Complete deliverance, God's salvation and restoration. Every time 17 appears, it serves as a reminder of God's power, grace, and perfect timing. It invites us to trust His divine plan, knowing that He brings victory and new beginnings in His perfect way. Final thoughts. The number 17 is far more than a simple numeral. It is a symbol of God's intervention, victory, and renewal. Whether seen in Noah's Ark, Joseph's journey, the Israelites' deliverance, or Jesus' resurrection, it reminds us that God is always working behind the scenes to bring about His perfect will. If you encounter 17 in Scripture or your life, consider it a divine sign of hope, transformation, and complete deliverance.